Welcome to Ramblings of a Madman. This episode, I'm going to ramble on about luck. Well, if you're listening to this, the first thing you will hear when I say luck is I'm a person who doesn't have much of a luck. I say this with confidence because most of the people think like that. Of course, it is the same for me. If I hear this, I would think the same thing. We are talking about luck, something I don't have. But in the other sense, somebody who's successful or who's in a good place, a good moment at this time would be thinking that I came to this place, I have all this because not because of the luck that I have, because I worked very hard for it. These are the two scenarios in the society. This makes maybe up to 90% of the mentality or the way that people thinks. This is true in for the people who think that they are successful because they worked hard. Of course, it is true. You have to work hard to go to a great place. And for the people who think that they are down on their luck, it is a different story, because some of you might have worked hard, but still things didn't pan out the way you want. This is the scenario that I want to talk about, because luck is not for everyone, and the society defines luck in different ways. Luck is basically things going your way, easy sailing. Different, like for some say it's God's will that good things happen to some people and bad things happen to some people. Some might say it's karma, and basically it's true. You could do the same effort, same thing, and for some reasons beyond your control, it will fail or it will succeed. Take for instance two farmers who started farming at the same time around two areas. Unfortunately, one farmer has a heavy rainfall in that area and a flood destroys his crop. Now here lies the problem. Both the farmers did the cultivation in the same way, the same crop, with the same amount of fertilizers and the treatments that is needed to the plants. But the outcomes are very different. This itself is the luck and the unluckiness we talk about, isn't it? The best example at this moment is COVID-19. You might start things with, beginning of this year, you might have started things with very big hopes, and the predictions for the future was very sunny, it was very good. But it became darker and darker and darker. Businesses are suffering, economy is suffering because of this pandemic situation. But this is something we can say beyond our control. This might be lucky for some people, and this might be unlucky for other people in economy wise. Health wise also, people are suffering, and this is not something that happens because of what you have done. This is something that happens beyond your control. Even this is the point that I want to make, that things beyond our control help us to succeed or otherwise. We call it being lucky or unlucky at that moment. One of the other examples that comes into my mind is YouTube. When YouTube starts, the YouTube career starts, it is the perfect time to start a video streaming channel. Why is that? Because any video streaming channel or any video streaming platform actually before that time didn't have the capability, the technology and the bandwidth enough to facilitate videos online. But here comes YouTube, and the technology, the online is it's not the greatest, but at the right time is enough to facilitate YouTube, and it took off. Many examples like this can be told. Streaming video streaming sites before YouTube can be counted as unlucky, and YouTube can be counted as lucky. Both of them, of course, have worked hard on the situation, and we can't say other streaming sites didn't, but circumstances helped YouTube in that manner. So when you see a person down in their luck or in an unfortunate situation, I have seen some people point out that this is their fault. Maybe they are lazy, maybe they don't think of a new way, or it's all their fault, because how if I am in this position, how can't this person come, or if other people in his level succeed, how this person is only in this scenario. We don't know the personal life of each individual, and we don't know whether they actually tried or not. Because one of the things, even take this podcast for instance, if I get lucky, people might hear it, people might like it, and people might share it. If you're hearing this, maybe I have got lucky, and people would like my voice, my ideas, my concept of this podcast, and they start listening. But in the other sense, maybe I'm just talking to myself here. So that is the thing. It's all in the luck and the unluckiness of it. Because for me, a great topic about to talk about, and this is my voice, and I am trying to build a podcast here with the tools I have and the knowledge I know. And even though that is the scenario, there are factors that is beyond my control, all that have to work in my way to help me get listeners to this podcast. We can call that part luck, because basically I can't control you, the listener. It's up to the listener to listen and get entertained or enjoy this podcast. This is the point of luck I am talking about. This is what some people call as being lucky and unlucky, or this is what some people call as God's will, because factors beyond our control contributes to our success or otherwise. Some scenario came into my mind, some fact actually. It's in Buddhism there's a description about how things happen, And in Buddhism, it's not only because of karma. It can be because of factors regarding the environment, droughts, pandemics, tsunamis, floods can affect people in bad ways. Good rain, good climate conditions will affect people in good ways, and that is one of the factors. The other factor is that if you also one that is beyond your control, or that is that it's called the seed theory, that if you plant a mango seed, you expect a mango tree, meaning that if, let's say, if you want to start a YouTube channel, if you are in a country where YouTube is popular, it will be much more easier to start that channel and bring it up. And if you can, let's say, speak a language where a lot of people who watch YouTube are speaking, I think that there is a chance to pull it up, something like that. Those are seeded things. Then comes the third one is, of course, karma. The fourth part is things that cannot be explained, or things beyond our control, or basically things, powers that we cannot be explained. These four factors, it just came to my mind while talking about luck and karma, or God's will, because whatever it is beyond our control that contributes for this situation. This, what I am saying is, if you are in a good place, yes, of course, 100% it's your workings that got you there, and you deserve it, for sure. But that being in that place, you must always remember others aren't, not only because of their fault, and you should appreciate the position you are in, and you must help the unfortunate in that way. And for the people who, let's say, are unlucky, who's at the moment in a low position, or a low place in life, there are two ways to look at this. Number one, it doesn't mean that you haven't tried and you are a failure. It's that sometimes, even if you do your best, things might not work out, right? COVID-19 era, this era gives the best examples ever. Things that go beyond control all is there, and people suffer because of that. The second part is, yes, you have to climb that ladder to go to your dream, and that being true in one way. If you're listening to this podcast, think for a moment. You are listening through an electronic device. There might be a roof on top of you. There might be good air conditioning, four walls to protect you, a good place to sit, or a good bed to sleep in. You would have friends, you have something to eat, you have internet, for sure. You have an electronic device that you can listen this podcast through. Because let's face it, the really unlucky people, or the people who are suffering in our society for real, will not have these things, and for sure will not listen to these things. So in a sense, if you have even the smallest thing, we should appreciate the value of them. because out there are people who are struggling to find their next meal. Stories that cannot be even described are happening at this moment. And in that sense, I think it is the best. Like, a story comes to my mind at the moment, that a soldier, a UN soldier who went to Haiti, he came back and he was telling me this story where there was a time that he went in a time that was very bad in Haiti, and when he go to lunch inside the UN camp, when they wash their hands after having lunch, the small bits and pieces of rice will go through the drain towards outside, and there will be people with small pieces of cloth just waiting to get that food strained from the water. I don't know. I see, this is what I say, that if you are listening to this podcast, even having internet itself is more lucky, because there are people in this world like this, and it's just one story of a million, and they will never have a podcast. It would be to tell their stories. One day hopefully they might, but their voices are not heard. And if we are saying that we are unlucky because we lost our job, or things doesn't go in our way, we got sick, maybe because of COVID-19 or maybe something else, but still bad things might, because I have seen people saying, oh, I am an unlucky person, or things doesn't go unlucky because of minor things. Your Xbox broke down, your phone fell in the toilet or the swimming pool, or you were not invited to the party. And believe me, that's not unlucky. That's just a small bump in the road for things that happens in this world. I just want to talk about luck for a moment, where there is an actual thing in that there is an actual factor in success that we cannot control, and if that factor affects you negatively, you must not punish yourself for that. That is the number one thing to get from this. And the second thing is that if you think you are unlucky, please look around, see the stories, listen to the stories, go there yourself. Even if you can't go there, the world is on our fingertips, and you can see the amount of pain and suffering that people go through, and understand that you are not that unlucky, and determine yourself that whenever you can, to help the people who are down in their luck. So these are the two factors that I want to tell. Failure is not always because of you doing things wrong or because of you. Failure can be because of things that we say as luck and unlucky, things beyond our control, and we shouldn't punish ourselves. As human beings, we must cope with the sadness and the emotions that comes with the failure, but we have to dust ourselves up and start all over again to succeed. By luck, luck would be in our side. The second, of course, that thinking that I am a very unlucky person is a wrong way of thinking and approaching things, because there's always a person who is in a bad state than you. You just need to open your eyes and look around. So I hope something positive comes to your mind listening to this. Or I hope that it makes up your gloomy day and start thinking positively. Or feel coziness, because there are people who are in your state and understands this. This is so I just want to talk about luck for a moment, or basically things beyond our control helping us or not helping us, working as an advantage or a disadvantage in life to change our lives for the better. Thank you very much for listening. Have a great, healthy life. Ayubowan.